The ocean is crashing against this rock at the exact same speed in both of these images. The physical reality is identical. The only difference is what the photographer decided time should look like. I'm Sylvie Lynn. In the first part of this lesson, we learned how to fix unintentional camera shake. Today, we move from defense to offense. We are going to learn how to actively manipulate shutter speed to freeze reality in its tracks, or intentionally drag time across your sensor to communicate profound energy and motion. Shutter speed is duration. If you want to freeze chaotic, fast-moving action, a mountain biker bombing down a trail, a leaping dog, or a bird taking flight, you need a fast shutter. We are talking 1/1000th of a second or faster. At these very fast shutter speeds, the mechanical curtains don't actually move faster. The gap between them simply becomes narrower, exposing the sensor a microscopic slice at a time. The subject physically doesn't have time to move across that narrow slit while it's exposed. Time is entirely frozen. But there is a catch. Photography is fundamentally about gathering light. If your shutter is only open for 1/4000th of a second, almost no light gets in. Every single stop you increase your shutter speed, say jumping from 1/500th to 1/1000th, literally halves the amount of light hitting your sensor. You are starving the sensor. To pay the light tax for freezing motion, you will have to compensate. You will need to open your aperture wider to let more light in. But what happens if your lens is already open to its absolute maximum and the photo is still too dark? That is when you are forced to raise your ISO sensitivity, which introduces digital noise, a concept we will conquer in the next lesson. But what if you want to go the other way? What if you want to intentionally drag the shutter? If you set your shutter speed to 1/10th of a second, or even 2 full seconds, anything that moves through the frame during that time will be painted as a streak of color. But this creates a reverse light tax. If you leave your shutter open for 2 seconds in the middle of a bright afternoon, your sensor will flood with light. Even if you close your aperture down to a tiny pinhole, your photo will be pure, blown out, unrecoverable white. To solve this in daylight, we use a tool called a neutral density filter, or an ND filter. It is literally a pair of high-quality sunglasses for your lens. It blocks light from entering, allowing you to force the camera into a long, slow shutter speed even when the sun is shining, without overexposing your image. ND filters come in different strengths, measured in stops. An ND10 filter is practically pitch black glass. It cuts 10 stops of light, allowing you to shoot a 30-second exposure in the middle of a sunny day. Cheap variable NDs often produce a dark X pattern and muddy yellow color shifts, known as IR pollution, at high densities. For pure landscape photography, always use fixed, high-quality glass ND filters. If treating time as a physical tool that you can stretch and compress is changing how you see your camera, make sure you subscribe to North of Wendigo to keep building this foundation. We drag the shutter to communicate energy, and water isn't our only subject. Think about the wind. If you are standing in the prairies, a fast shutter speed freezes the tall grass, making it look stiff and brittle. But drag that shutter to half a second, and suddenly the field looks like a living, breathing ocean of green and gold. We do the same with clouds over architecture, blurring them to create a sense of sweeping time against a rigid building. But to do this, your camera must be anchored. If the camera moves, the whole world blurs. You must bolt the camera to a heavy tripod. The landscape must remain razor sharp, while only the moving elements paint themselves across the frame. There is, however, one advanced exception where we want to move the camera. It's called panning. But before we attempt it, a critical warning for modern mirrorless users: the electronic traps. Many modern cameras default to a completely silent electronic shutter. Instead of dropping a physical curtain, the sensor reads the light row by row from top to bottom like a scanner. If you move the camera rapidly to track a fast subject, the subject will have moved forward by the time the sensor finishes reading the bottom row. The result is a warped, distorted image, an effect called rolling shutter. Electronic shutters also hate cheap artificial light. LED lights and street lamps actually flicker hundreds of times a second. Your eyes can't see it, but a fast electronic shutter will catch the light while it's off, resulting in ugly dark bands across your photo. If you are going to capture fast motion, pan your camera, or shoot under city lights, always make sure your mechanical shutter is turned on to keep the geometry and the light honest. With the mechanical shutter engaged, we can pan. Panning is the ultimate test of shutter speed mechanics. You want to show a subject moving fast, but keep the subject completely sharp. To do this, you set a moderately slow shutter speed. For a runner, try 1/30th of a second. For a fast car, try 1/60th or 1/80th. As the subject moves past you, you track them in your viewfinder. Most photographers lock their elbows for stability, but some keep them loose. Experiment to see what gives you the smoothest rotation. You rotate your entire upper body from the hips, like a tank turret. You match their speed perfectly, and you press the shutter while moving smoothly. Because the camera is moving at the exact same speed as the subject stays sharp on the sensor, but the background smears into aggressive horizontal lines of speed. Your assignment requires practice and patience. Go find a safe place near a road with consistent traffic or a path with cyclists. Put your camera in shutter priority mode. Turn off your silent shutter. If your camera underexposes or raises ISO aggressively to compensate, that's normal. Each brand handles shutter priority differently. Set your shutter speed to 1/40th of a second. Plant your feet shoulder width apart. As a car approaches, lock your focus on it. Rotate your torso to follow the car, matching its speed. Squeeze the shutter gently while you continue to rotate. Follow through smoothly, exactly like a golf swing. Your first 20 shots will be a blurry mess. Your timing will be off, your hands will shake, you will stop rotating the moment you click the button. Keep trying. Adjust your shutter speed up to 1/80th if it's too hard to keep the car sharp, or down to 1/20th if you want more aggressive background blur. When you finally sync perfectly with the subject, you will capture a profound sense of speed. When you nail that perfect pan or capture the motion of the wind with a dragged shutter, share your work. Upload your image to our community board or post it to social media and tag North of Wendigo. We want to see how you chose to paint with time. We've mastered the pupil and we've mastered the eyelid. Next up, we tackle the sensor's sensitivity itself. I'm Sylvie Lynn. Decide what time looks like and I'll see you on the path.